Hey there, battle buddies and healthy heroes. My name is Susie. I am not a medical professional of any kind. I'm just an enthusiastic nerd. And I would like to talk with you today about some of the mentality efforts, some of the mental health and emotional labor that goes into a lifestyle of fitness. I find myself very lucky to have achieved this sort of consistent routine that feels really good and flows really well as a lifestyle for me. And so I spent some time reflecting about how I got here and what has worked for me, and I want to share those tips with you. I want you to embrace your mental health. I want you to embrace your emotional well-being. As I've said before, mentality and mental health are arguably more important than physical capabilities in regards to a fitness journey or a lifestyle of wellness. So here are my 7 tips for habit forming, for what gets you into a good groove of a consistent routine. This is just what worked for me. I highly recommend therapists and doctors, people you can consult on your own. So, 1, mindfulness and reflection. 2, radical acceptance. 3, hacks for initiation or mustering. 4, having structure balanced with flexibility and gentleness. 5, having a bag of tricks of options, having different routines. 6, having support for your routine. And 7, accountability and socializing, embracing accountability with your friends. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do for each of these things. Mindfulness and reflection, to me, I practice meditation. I notice my thoughts, both simple and complex, either benign or charged. I just try to notice my thoughts and train myself to let them go without judgment. I use guided meditation tracks that come with a gentle birth program that I actually used while I was pregnant with my second child. After going through a lot of therapy, I needed to have a self-talk overhaul, and mindfulness is what got me there in regards to my mothering, pregnancy, labor, and delivery journeys. I also recently picked up a book called The Mindful Catholic by Dr. Gregory Bottaro. If you are a spiritual, religious, or Catholic person, I highly recommend that one. It's a great approach. I try to take the mindful exercises that I learned through labor and delivery and motherhood and spirituality and apply them to my exercise. I reflect a lot. While I'm exercising, I will notice my thoughts, notice how I'm talking to myself, try to be gentle, try to let it go without judgment, don't follow any false narratives. And then afterwards, I will reflect and maybe write a little journal about if I was harsh to myself, or if I felt really bad, or what affirmations I might have needed to use to respond to these false narratives that I noticed thanks to the practice of mindfulness. That's what that means to me. Just a big mental health overhaul will open up some doors for you in your fitness world. What comes along with that is my point number 2, radical acceptance. What it means to be mindful and let your thoughts go without judgment. It means that you don't hate yourself for failing. You don't judge yourself harshly for not being good enough. You accept where you are. You accept the gift of your body or your capabilities, or even the struggle or the lamenting. Like, all of that is part of the journey, and you accept it and you sit with it and you make space for it, and you don't judge yourself for it. You despise the shame is a phrase that I have recently been leaning into. Despise the shame. So accept yourself gently. Some sincere love and appreciation for your body goes in for this as well. I remember going through my motherhood journey, there was a very specific moment where my postpartum body being very different than what I was familiar with, I just sat there and hugged my soft and expanded tummy and just thanked my body for what it did for me when it brought my kids into the world. And it sounds really cheesy, but it was a really emotional moment for me in those challenging postpartum moments. That's what radical acceptance can look like. And that's what it was for me. And it helps. Point number 3, having a few hacks for initiation. This one is really practical. I just eliminate whatever I possibly can to cut down on the setup steps. Maybe all of my workout equipment is in one spot. I have a clear area that I use. Maybe I put on my workout clothes first thing in the morning. I'm a stay-at-home mom most of the time, so it's sometimes, you know, easy to have the kids' needs come first and be the only thing you do. But if you can cut those corners and take a few minutes of care for yourself in the morning, you'll be able to jump on the opportunity when it arises later. So just cut those corners as you can. Any step towards activity can be a starting point for inertia and momentum. Those little habits can become something bigger. So point number 4, structure balanced with flexibility. I make plans for my weeks, for whatever's attainable in a routine. Is it different stages of my life have had different goals? Once per week, 3 times per week, 6 times a week? It depends, but it's really personal and case by case, obviously. But knowing what your timing goals are, for example, like 11 a.m., half an hour routine, or like 10 p.m., 1 hour routine, whatever works for you, plan a little bit, and then be gentle with yourself as you need to make adjustments. The structure will only serve you if you don't allow it to sabotage you by being a perfectionist about it. So aim for those things and then have options to fall back on or be gentle as you adjust or miss things. And that segues into point number 5, which is having your bag of tricks of options. So maybe your goal is cardio twice a week, but then you tweak your knee. Instead of hating yourself and saying, I failed, I can't do cardio, like do yoga instead. Do something to take that spot. I even have, like, instead of running 3 miles, run 2 miles, do sprint intervals, or like if the range of motion is bothering you, but the impact isn't bothering you, that level of awareness coupled with having experience with a lot of different videos, a lot of different moves, a lot of different routines and workouts, resources, if you can get into them, old DVDs, YouTube videos, get familiar with what is out there, and when you run into problems or hurdles, you'll be able to fall back or adjust a little more easily. And I do have 2 favorite quotes from a good friend of mine in regards to having this bag of tricks. And it also has helped me fight perfectionism, because something where I really struggled a lot when I was early in this fitness habit building was being so nervous about doing the exact right thing at the exact right time. Like, what's most efficient and effective, and what's best for my body right now, and how do I make the best routine? Despise that shame and disregard those lies. Here are the 2 quotes from my friend. 1, the best workout is the one you'll do. And 2, just move. So have a bag of tricks of workouts and moves that's fun for you, that you enjoy, that you can get excited about. Don't torture yourself. You're not going to be perfect. Let go of those false narratives, my friends. Okay, second to last point here. Number 6, get some support for your routine as much as you can. If your needs are not being met by your partner, your spouse, friends, your family, speak up and advocate for yourself. If you need help carving out time or quiet time or alone time, ask for it and do what you can to overhaul your expectations and your assumptions about your schedule. My husband and I went through a big journey with this since the pandemic, and he started working from home. And so to have his support and to have my kids taken care of, to give me time to work on this stuff has been huge. And addition to like domestic and friend support, if you are so privileged, I highly recommend professional support. I have a therapist for mental health. I have a physical therapist for leg injuries. I've even worked with pelvic floor physical therapists for postpartum and pregnancy related fitness things. Don't hesitate. If you can, if you can access those resources, they're so valuable, and there are professionals out there that do a really good job teaching you and giving you new ideas and giving you good support. And maybe it's just the extrovert in me that really thrives with that community, but I, having gone through honestly a motherhood journey, helped me build up that community of professionals that support my wellness journey, and I highly, highly recommend it if you can. And lastly, segues very similarly from the professional support, get yourself accountable with socializing. I have a Facebook support group. I share those reflection journals that I told you about earlier. I talk to friends. I will text friends before a run and say like, I'm going for a run, motivate me. And they like text me back little inspiration things. And then I, after the run, will send them a screenshot of my stats. I'll be like, look how I did it my second mile. Oh, the pace was great. It's just fun. Make it a fun thing you can talk about with your friends. Find some good fitness friends. Talk to me. I'd love to meet you. Leave comments and reach out. So socialize with it and engage and embrace the notion of accountability. Have friends support you and talk to your friends about it. All of those things have come together to work for me, and I hope those ideas help you. Thanks for being battle buddies and healthy heroes with me.